Dee, dee, dee. Hi folks, welcome. It is the 7th of February. I'm back on the wheel, believe it or not. He's back on the wheel. Yes. So yeah, I've got to throw some more tankards. So yeah, these are thrown 5.5 high and using 14 ounces of clay. So, okay, we've done that one. Now what I need to do, and this is a good tip, don't set a gauge after you've cut it off. Okay, so what we want to do is don't set the gauge too close. Allow a little bit of, probably want to allow approximately 1/16 of an inch, something like that. Clearance, Alright. Just bring that camera over here. Look, I want you to see that. Okay, so that just allows a little bit of clearance there, which we need. All right. Okay, I got some more lumps there. So these tankards, I'm going to make them look something like that. So you see there's like the thumbing around my thumbprint around the base there. This one very slightly different because I've actually used my knuckle to create that indentation that you see there all around just pushing that in, whereas the other one I've used my thumb. So it's just a slight variation there on that. Okay, so now we should, with our twisted cut-off wire, we should cut him off. Dee, dee, dee. That. Maybe we should light let's light the lamp, shall we, as well? First of all, get this off. So to lift the pot off the wheel, and this is I all the time meeting people who say, oh, I don't lift my pots off the wheel, Simon. I throw them on bats, and then I lift the whole bat off the wheel. Some people have got those kind of recessed sort of square bat arrangements, and I think, well, gosh, what an awful waste of time. Why don't you learn how to just lift it off? Save yourself an awful lot of trouble. Okay, so this is why I always try to teach people. So you want to use your throwing stick to clean away the slurry off the wall of the outside of the pot there. Okay, I've already done that in this case. And then you want to make sure your hands have a towel handy. Don't just use an apron and wipe your hands on your apron all the time. Don't do that, you'll make your apron a mess in no time. So have a separate, I mean, I keep one under the wheel here. It's getting pretty like it needs a change because it's pretty, but you know, just wipe your hands off like that, okay? And then, so you want to, now some people I see trying to lift off like this, you see. Now that can work for some shapes, but not for this kind of shape, because there's not enough contact area with your hand. Okay, you're just getting small points of contact, okay, which will cause the pot to depress in, okay. So you don't want to do that. You want to have maximum contact area. That's why you want to use your palms like this, as well as using a twisted cut-off wire. Okay? That goes hand in hand with using a twisted cut-off wire, which is going to introduce air in underneath the pot to stop it sticking itself down again. You know, that does often happen. People cut through the pot, they go to try and lift it off, they don't have their hands properly cleaned off. As they're in the process of trying to lift off, they're thinking, it's not coming off, what's wrong? Well, what's wrong is it's stuck itself back down again. That's why you can't get your pot off the wheel. So what you should do, this is not a sales pitch, I'm just going to say that. But what you should do is, I'll phrase it like this: you should make yourself a twisted cut-off wire. Okay, I don't know of any that are available on the market, other than the one that I sell. Okay, so make yourself a twisted cut-off wire. If you don't know how to make one, I have a video on making a twisted cut-off wire, how to do it. If that daunts you too much, well then you can go to my website and I can sell you one. Either way, use a twisted cut-off wire. Okay? And you'll find that you will know, you will be able to lift your pots off the wheel very, very easily. If you combine with the twisted cut-off wire a throwing stick to clean the outside, or some other implement, but you need to get the slip off the side of the pot, and use dry hands. Easy peasy. What could be easier than that? These are some of the things that we talk about and we do and we practice and we learn on my Keep Practicing workshops. Okay, so 14 ounces of clay, get it in the center. That's always number one, isn't it? Get the thing in the center. That's the foundation of any decent pot, is the fact that it's a lump of clay, but it's more than that. It's a centered lump of clay. You center the clay, but the clay centers you. Yeah, that's a good saying, isn't it? You center the clay, but the clay centers you. And I find that the clay does center me. You know, I can feel a bit out of sorts with myself, you know, for whatever reason. And strangely, coming here in the pottery, getting with the clay, bashing the clay up, you know, on the wedging table, warming some water up here on my potter's wheel. Use a little warm water, you know. And then just start throwing and start centering the clay. And something happens quite often, I find. As I centre clay lump after clay lump. Begin to feel a little bit better about life in general, you know. Okay, down to the bottom. These are thrown a little wide in the base. Pulling it up. Notice wheel speed is not very fast. And look at that, I'm already up to the gauge without even... In fact, I almost hit the gauge. If I didn't actually do that, I did actually hit it, I think. Just got it away in the nick of time. Okay, so there you have the basic shape of a tankard, wider at the foot. You'll notice here it's slightly wasted around about here, isn't it? As it comes up, it narrows. Alright, and then it comes out again about here. And you have this elbow. I call it an elbow. It's a kind of elbow, isn't it? Sticking out. Well, that's where the handle is going to grow out from. So using my throwing stick down at the foot of the pot here, see, everything that we do, everything that I try to do here on the potter's wheel is very purposeful. There's a reason I do it the way I do it. Okay, I'm going to use my throwing stick to... Now look, you can see in the camera from where you are, you're going to have to incline that stick away from you, you see, like that, because now you see me collecting the slip on the side of the throwing stick, and that I need to get some of this off the side here, because that's what's going to enable me to lift off the pot successfully, which is what we want, isn't it? Right, next I have a leather. Now these chamois leathers are very slightly different than some previous ones. Some other ones I made and sold, they had with a permanent ink marker cross on the top of the. But I didn't find that after a while. I found that it wasn't very visible, that redness of the permanent marker on the top there of the cork of the float. So I came up with another idea, as one does. Cut through with the wheel going around slightly. Another thing just to mention here, you'll notice with these cut-off wires that one toggle is bigger than the other, okay, and there's a reason for that. It's so that it hangs on the side of the wheel here, and the heavier, larger toggle always keeps it in, it never falls on the floor. You see? There's a reason. Okay, clean hands, and there it is. You see how easy that is to lift off the wheel. I mean, what could be easier than that? What could be easier than that? I just wanted to show you the let me just, yeah, so it's got this. Now this doesn't lose colour through being in the water, so when you drop it in the water, it's always, doesn't matter how you wrap it up, pretty much anyway. You wrap the thing up, you know, just it'll, oh well, I wrapped it up too much there, but just drop it like that. That always comes to the top, so it's designed that as it goes down, it flips up like that. Anyway, enough of that, Simon. Come on, get in there. All right. Now then. What next? Let's have a little light, shall we, on the subject? Let there be light, and there was. So, you see how nicely the, whoops, that's just olive oil in there, and it burns very nicely. Very nicely indeed. Well, I'll just put that there. Yeah. Have a little light on the subject. Okay, let's make another. See, I know I've done a million of these videos on repeat throwing tankards. It doesn't matter, you know, I could be throwing something different every single time, but I can just take the same thing and just go over it and over it and over it, and I could probably make every video different because I'm just talking about different things, different aspects. Let's have a xylitol. Xylitol, good for your teeth. Right. Yeah, so remember, not too much wheel speed, but you can have a little bit more wheel speed when you're centering. Okay. Now I've got to work around the gauge. Breaking in, forming the base. And at this stage we go a little wider than what is the finished width of the actual tankard. Bring it upwards but inwards. So you keep it narrow at the top, you keep it coming up, you see, conical. Pretty important, that. Keep your lift, keep it coming up, don't get too slow with your lift. It's a very common problem. People are doing two things or three things wrong. First thing is they've got the wheel going too fast. Second thing is they're lifting too slowly. And the third thing is their watering is inadequate. There's not enough lubrication there. Consequently, it pulls the pot way out of shape. Come on then, up to the gauge. There he is. So it's a wasted form, and then it comes out there on the top with the elbow there. Going to stick at the base. Always remember, we want a nice bevel or undercut here at the foot of your pot. I'm going to break the corner there, yeah? We don't want sharp corners. Yeah, keep the elbow here wider than the actual lip where you drink from. It's just part of the aesthetic sort of thing, you know. Alright, and don't forget, leather the tops of your pots. Very important to leather your rims. Now some people say, well, I don't bother leathering, Simon, I use a piece of plastic. Or I use a sponge. Alright? Never use a sponge on the lip. And preferably don't throw with a sponge. So many people are taught to throw with a sponge, it's unbelievable. Take your sponge and fling it in the furthest field that you can find. You don't want to learn those bad habits. Alright. Straight through. Yeah, the problem with the sponge when you're throwing is it's a go-between between the pot, the clay and you. So you're depriving your fingers and all the sensory cells that you've got here that can tell you how much water you've got or haven't got. It can give you all that information, your fingertips. If you put a sponge there, how are you going to read the pot? You're not going to be able to read the pot. You're not going to gather any information from the pot because the sponge is soaking it all up. And you will be an ignoramus as a result. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, as my mother would say. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're beginning a run of tankards. Another one is on the way. Hey, thanks for joining us, folks. It's good to be back on the wheel. It's good to be talking and videoing as I go. I enjoy doing it. Go to my website, simonleachpottery.com. Going to be having some more pots up there shortly, and tools there are there. If you go there, you'll see. What else can I say? Workshops, yes, 2019 workshops are on the website. If you would like to come on a workshop, go there, have a look at the dates. Most of the dates are free, and pick a date and write to me and say, Simon, are these dates free? And I'll let you know if they are. I don't think that we have any. We have only one workshop that's fully booked at the moment. So yeah, come and join us. Come to Milheim. There's things to do here. There's good beer. There's good Amish scene, good music scene, artsy, you know. Plus nice rolling hills and valleys. So come and join us for a workshop. Come for a keep practicing workshop. And look, if you think, oh well, gosh, I don't think I'm good enough yet to come on a workshop. Nothing could be further from the truth. You need to get here as quickly as possible, okay, before you start learning bad habits, like using sponges, things like that. And you know, I think you'd find it very beneficial if you think you're a beginner and if you think that you're not going to be good enough, you've got to go away and practice before you can come on a workshop. Well, that's not what it's about. It's about coming to learn, And if you don't know how to do it, well, just come, and we'll try to teach you as best we can. Anyway, think about it. One further thing remains to be said, and that is keep practicing. That's the big secret. Keep at it. Jack Russell determination. Okay, bye from me.